Hello everyone, welcome to class 19 of Kerala PSC HSA English. Today let's discuss on the poem A House of a Thousand Doors, written by Meena Alexander. This poem is included in a collection of book having 59 poems and prose pieces. The book is having the same title of the poem, House of a Thousand Doors. From the book, we can realize the multicultural heritage of the author Meena Alexander in India, Sudan, and US. The book was published in 1988. So let's go directly into the poem. After reading the poem, you will realize that author is giving us an imagery about a house which has 1,000 doors, and that shows that openness. That means this house is ready to welcome many guests, as many guests as possible. So that vibrancy, that welcome, that showing welcomeness to the guest. So it's something a part of a culture, accepting everything, accepting foreign ideas, new aspects of culture, and it also have the same idea or concept of Vasudeva Kudumbakam, as it is as the doors are open for guests at any time. So it has a very positive aspect, which is connected to India. The Indian culture of expecting every foreign guest, which later became a disaster. So we are referring here to the colonial powers. So India always accepted foreign people to their land, and the result was catastrophic. But somehow we got independence. So here the author tells about our India. So India is compared to a house with 1,000 doors, and people are immigrating to this house, to India, through these doors. So here we can see India as a nation giving significance to or giving importance to every people individually, and giving a feeling of community, that we are all one, we all belong to one home. The sills are cut in bronze. So bronze, again, bronze is an alloy. So just like that, alloy means an amalgamation of things. So that is what you mean by alloy. So that shows the amalgamation of different cultures. So the sills are cut out 3 feet high to keep out snakes. So here it refers India as a land of snakes and snake charmers. And this concept was developed by the Western people. That is, India is a land of snakes and snake charmers. So the owners of the house, or the Indians, are so, they want to welcome the guest. So they want to keep away these, these snakes, toads, water rats, so that the foreign guest will not feel any kind of disturbance because of these insects and repulsive things. So what are rats that shimmer in the bald reeds? So reeds often grow in wet areas, and that points to the maybe the monsoon season we often get, especially in Kerala. At twilight, as the sun burns down to the Kerala coast. So twilight is a time between, the evening and the night. So it's at the end of the day. The roof is tiled in red, and that is something typical about Kerala houses. The houses here will be always having a roof with red in color, with red tiles. So and it is contrasted with the silver lightning rod. So the silver shining rod is having a pointed edge, a prow, set out from land's end, bound nowhere. So it's positioned at some point which seems nowhere, and that nowhere signifies a lack of hope, something, a dystopian setting is there. In dreams, waves lilt a silken fan in grandmother's hands, shell colored, utterly bare as the light takes her. So, this reference to grandmother may be a suggestion that today our house has lost that old charm, grandmothers, their advice, their knowledge. It's only in the dreams. Now we are only able to capture those kind of people, those experienced, resourceful person only in our dreams. So in the dreams we can picture her with a silken fan, a shell colored fan, and since it's a dream, we are not able to see her even in dreams. She kneels at each of the 1,000 doors in turn, paying her dues. So we have that rich old tradition of welcoming every people to our home. We kneel at each door. Here in the poem it is saying that the grandmother kneels at each of the 1,000 doors. That means it's a quality of a hospitality, that we always welcome our guests with open arms, and in turn paying her dues. Her debt is endless. But how that guest will exit, or she may have to pay her debt, and these doors do exist in her life. So that's our culture, that we will not leave or we will not let people leave from our house with sadness, or we will give everything what we have. So that's why we are in debt. The speaker also hears in the darkness a flute played by a bride. So here we get two contrasting images of womanhood. One is a old grandmother who has experienced her life, and one is a young bride who is who is about to start a new life. So now the young bride has to follow the rituals and all the cultures done by the great grandmother. So she has to follow everything, she has to repeat everything. So this says about the life of a woman in a patriarchal society. So the woman in all her lifetime, she always kneels in front of everyone, but still the male gods will not let her in. But she has no complaints, she has no problem, she always do her duties, whatever she is supposed to do. So here we can bring another comparison, that is, India can be compared to a woman who always stands kneeling before the colonial powers, and and bent back by the oppression. So after the experience of colonization and the post colonization, here our poet tells about her experience, that the suppression she suffered because of this neo-colonialism. So here India is called as a pure forked thing. India is always in a bent position before everyone.